Hello, my name is Sherrie. I'm an artist, and welcome to my YouTube channel.
Alright, back to my sketchbook tour. This is sketchbook tour number 2. Okay, this was the page that I left off on. This was 9/19/2017, so we're still in 2017. Yeah. So again, this was gouache, and this was me experimenting with gouache, like trying to mix colors. This is not an original sketch. This is a sketch of a painting that was done by Frank Frazetta. I was using it as a master copy. I just wanted to be able to compare and contrast something that was finished with something that I was doing, just to see like if I was getting the colors right or the consistency or something like that. So Frank Frazetta had done the movie cover for Dusk Till Dawn, and that's what this is. So that was just me experimenting. And then MDA, I was in college at the time, so I was, of course, president of the art club in college, and yeah, so I had all these like responsibilities, like tabling events and things to do, and putting together an Iron Throne, which I will show you in a couple pages, because that was a lot of fun and a lot of work. This is a tiger that I did in Prismacolor pencil and Micron pens. I just felt like drawing him one night, so I did. And then this was the Iron Throne. So the clubs at my college put on a comic book convention called TitanCon, and it's just strictly for the college students. And so that year it was, the theme of it was Game of Thrones. So I said, hey, I want to make the Iron Throne. And I had no idea how much like expenses and patience and energy would go into this, but it was a lot. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of learning how to make things, and it was good. It was good. So yeah, so I had again gone to school for digital design, and so I knew Adobe Illustrator really well. So I had designed this whole thing on Adobe Illustrator, and taken an Adirondack chair, a plastic Adirondack chair from like Home Depot, and basically it was attaching wooden parts to it. So I had designed everything out in Illustrator and put it into my boyfriend's laser machine, and here it is cutting out the lasered parts on 1/4-inch birch plywood, and then punching them all out, and see all the little swords and handles and stuff, and then assembling it all together. And so this is how it looked. The back of the chair, it was 3. Okay, there was 1, 2, 3 layers on the front of the chair, and then 1 layer on the back, so you couldn't see the back of the chair. And the first 2 layers that went on the front had carriage bolts that went all the way through. So you had these big carriage bolts, like through 2 sections, because the way the Adirondack chair was, it looked like wood. It was all plastic, but it looked like wood, and it had slats on it, so you could put a carriage bolt through and kind of have it, stay there. So that's what we did. And then I put on the last layer just to cover up the carriage bolts, and so it wouldn't poke you in the back. And then for the bottom, I made up 3 sides. I think 3 sides. Did I make up 4? No, I made up 4 sides. 4 sides to this. And I basically just attached them with zip ties and glue. And so you can see right here, there's like 3 layers of wood, and those are all glued together, and then the zip ties were put on, and then these little bits of the zip ties were cut off eventually. And then it was painted, and here it is finished. So yeah, I had painted it black first, painted the whole thing black, including the red plastic chair, and then went back and spray painted like with a dark silver and then a light silver and then a like concrete looking thing, so it looked like it was aged. And it doesn't really show up good here, but it was interesting. And then I put a piece of rabbit fur on the back of the chair, so it was comfy, you know. And so this is me sitting in it. It was half scale. It wasn't as big as it is in Game of Thrones, but so I had done this, and we had put it with a backdrop, as you can see here. This is my photo backdrop. And these little signs back here, they were all lasered on my boyfriend's machine. They were all painted by me. They were all designed by me, so it was a lot. And at the end of the convention, we did a raffle and gave it away, gave the Iron Throne away, and yeah, and it was a lot of fun. I learned a whole lot about making, because I'm an artist and I don't usually make things. I'm not a maker. I'm not used to like machining things and putting them together, and you know, the closest thing to that is sculpture, and that's usually just one piece. And you fire it and you paint it, and that's about it. But this was a good learning experience. So yeah, I have lots of little notes, measurements, and notes and stuff, and it was fun. It really was. So this is a sea turtle that I did, that ended up becoming a painting of mine. I did this in gouache. This is just, you know, mechanical pencil, and I thought it was a really cool little idea. And it was called Journey Through the Cosmos, but I keep forgetting that name, so I name it Steampunk Turtle in Space, which it's just easier for me to remember. And this actually hung in the Fusner Museum for the month of December of 2018, which I am so like proud of. Because it's one thing to have things, you know, hanging in a gallery, but it's another thing to have something hanging in a museum. That's like, you've made it. Or so I thought. But it means that, you know, I'm actually an artist. Just don't think that I'm an artist. So, yeah, and I just thought that this was a cute concept. You know, a turtle with a tree house on its back, and yeah. I'm constantly thinking of things like this, like for children's books and stuff, so yeah. This is a preliminary sketch of a drawing that I did for my boyfriend. He's a custom knife maker, Alan Foltz. So he wanted to do a unicorn with one of his knives taped to the horn, saying, "I will cut you," and it became known as Stabby Corn. So this was the original, and the actual t-shirt design that I did, it wound up totally different. This he didn't like because it was too realistic, so he wanted it more stylized, more graphic. So we went with that, and I could not find a picture of it. Like, we have the t-shirt, but I couldn't find a picture of it, so so that's why I didn't put it here. More character design. This is a minotaur for a children's book. This is a fish, koi fish. I love koi. The kind of kois that I love are the butterfly kois with the long flippers and or fins. Sorry, and I just like the way that they move through the water. It's so cool. So yeah, I drew one, and then I don't know if this will show up. Yeah, it probably will. But this is done in orange neon marker, and when I scanned it into my computer, it did not show up, and I don't know why, but it's because it's neon. And I even have neon colored pencils that I cannot use, and because they just won't show up in my scanner. I don't know why, but this is another picture of my character Rayhawk, and that's actually a sketch that I'm doing for the cover of her next book, comic book or novel. I don't know yet. And then here's some alligators that I was just drawing one night, piled on top of each other, and more of the cat scout that I did, that I'm writing a book about, the children's book. So, and then this was me trying to explain to somebody how different people's faces can look. So, because this person was drawing the same face over and over and over again. He's like, I can't get out of this cycle. And I'm like, well, this is what you do. You know, if you want them to look youthful, then you have to, like, make the chin look full and the nose look little and the lips look, kind of big and pouty, and make her face look smooth. Or if you want them to be, muscular and strong, you make the chin, more defined, and if you want them to look old, you make them not look more wrinkly, but look more angular. Even if it's a person that's overweight, still you want them to look angular. If you want them to look older, and you make the lips a little thinner and the eyes a little, more wrinkly and more like there's a lot there. And it's just I'm constantly trying to, like, not only teach other people but teach myself, like, how to draw faces in different ways and stuff. So yeah, that there was an example. And then I draw and I know things. Yeah. And so this started out as just, it was gonna be a page of leaves, and then somebody, the original quote was, I drink and I know things, which is from Game of Thrones. It's from Peter Dinklage's character, but I took and twisted it and made it my own. So I draw and I know things, which is my job, apparently. Okay, and this was after we went to Blade Show, which is a huge show in Georgia once a year. It's the largest knife show, I believe, in the world, or at least in the United States. And my boyfriend, of course, sells knives there. So So like 95% of the guys that were walking around there look like this. Although only one person had the bandolier, but and I just thought it was funny. So yeah, I drew that. And then these were some of the guys that would like come up to our table and talk to us. And these were actually two twins that were across the way from us. They're two knife makers too, and I thought it was really like very unique to study both of their faces because they were the same exact face, but one had the short goatee with the glasses and the other guy had, you know, a long beard, and they, you know, how different a face can look like with two different styles. It was very, very cool. And this turned out to be another painting that I did of a girl on an adventure with her dinosaur. I thought that was a really cool concept. So I drew it. And then this is another really cool concept that I came up with, the dragon and the hare. You know, I figured, you know, this dragon would like awaken from its well, not awaken, but come out of its shell, and you know, because it's a baby dragon, and like come down this oak tree, this old oak tree, and the first thing that runs into is this rabbit. And so it's kind of, you know, meeting of the minds. And the rabbit's from one world and he's from another, and they're kind of, you know, meeting each other for the first time. And I think that's cute. So, yeah. And here's another picture of Scout with a fairy. And this was a basilisk lizard. I love the way that these guys look. Since I live in Florida, I am constantly surrounded by little tiny anoles, which are lizards that you know, they're about that big. They're about, you know, 4 to 6 inches long, and there's some of them that have these crests on the back of their head, and I know that it comes from like them being related to these guys, basilisk lizards, and I know that there's a pet store too that has these locally, and I love to go look at them, and so I drew them one night. And because they're just so cool looking with their little crest on the back of their head. And then this is from Skulls and Black Lace again. This is one of the Rhea Hawk and Sarah, they become friends, but she's sent to spy on her, so she's, you know, she's at this temple of these dragons that Rhea Hawk's talking to, and she's like spying on her and doesn't know what to expect from around the corner. So yeah. And it's a horse that I drew. That's a unicorn that I drew. And, you know, just coming up with ideas and you know, practicing my skill. And this is a rather graphic drawing of a dragon. And then this was actually a drawing that I did. I was inspired by this person called Peter Draws. He's a big YouTube sensation. He's an artist who draws these like very abstract and beautiful pen drawings. And so I wanted to try one of them. So I started, and I'm like, it has to be something. And he draws like, sometimes he draws like robots or guns on a beach, or you know, very mechanical looking things. And sometimes it, you know, they don't exactly look like much, other than something that's abstract. Whereas I always need to make things look like something. So I started drawing this, and I started doing all these little, swoopy details and stuff, and I'm like, it looks like a pirate ship. So I made a pirate ship. And then I started doing this and stopped halfway through because it wasn't really making any sense. And so I called it an oozing puddle of crazies. And careful, you don't want to get any on you. So, yeah. And then I did it again, and I actually made it into a seahorse. And I thought that came out really well, so I went back and I, painted it and stuff, and that turned out really cool. Green tree python, one of my favorites. If you don't know, I own a ball python right now named Loki. I have loved snakes forever. Ever since I was real little, I used to catch garter snakes. So I found out, firsthand, like, how to handle them without them biting you, and that they can be really, really nice animals if you let them. So yeah, I drew a green tree python. Turned out really cool. And then I'm gonna stop this here since this is already over 20 minutes. And I will do a part 3 because I'm not done yet. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching part 2. Part 3 will be just around the corner, and please check out my Patreon and my Etsy page. The links are down in the description. And I will see you in part 3. Okay, bye.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.